A new major retail store under construction in Pinelands. They've applied for a liquor license and sparking some community backlash. If approved, could effectively end Pinelands' long-standing reputation as a dry suburb, a status that hasn't been shaped by any formal legal prohibition, but largely shaped by the residents' opposition to a liquor trading license. The application is with the Western Cape Liquor Authority, triggering a formal public participation process. Residents have a limited window until early May to submit objections or even support before the matter goes to the Liquor License Tribunal. Riyad Davids is the councillor for Ward 53. What is your positioning? What is the positioning of residents who are opposing this application for a license? Not based on any, from what I understand, legal opposition. It's simply, this is the way things have been done. This is the tradition in Pinelands. Riyad, good morning.
Good morning. So maybe the first thing to say is it's not about the consumption of alcohol. It's about the off-consumption sale of alcohol. And I think people make that very big mistake between the two. So it's about the off-consumption sale. And the problem with off-consumption sale is it brings a whole lot of other social problems with it. And the biggest one is drinking within the parking lot where people consume alcohol once they've bought it because they can't take it home or they want to hide it from their parents. But the biggest one comes in that the school, Pinelands High School, is within 150 meters of where the sale of alcohol is going to be. And the school has written in opposition to it. In the application, checker says it's 850 meters away because they took the first entrance away from them, which is very disingenuous and incorrect because you have to look at where is the nearest entrance or exit of the school in proximity to where the sale of liquor is going to be. But I always say is, the easiest way to look at this is look at all the other suburbs. So there's 116 wards in Cape Town, and the second last dry suburb was Fish Hoek. And I'd like to read about from the ward council, Isabel Sherry from Fish Hoek, since they lost their license. And she says, "I'm so saddened that Fish Hoek got liquor outlets. It's a major problem. With the increase of rough sleepers and easy access to two bottle stores close to the main road and the station has created problems. The drinking and drugs go hand in hand and increasing the crime. My poor residents that shop at Pick n Pay get targeted on the way to the car. I would fight it for as long as you possibly can as we do not sit with these issues." And that's, straight from it's comparing Fish Hoek before they had an off-consumption to now when they do have an off-consumption.
So this is more than just some sort of tradition or expectation that Pinelands is a dry suburb. It is, you saying, based on experiences of Fish Hoek. But you're right, it's not just about consumption. There are a couple of restaurants that I frequent in Pinelands where there is alcohol sold, but for on-consumption. They open the bottle in front of you and you drink it there.
Yes, absolutely. And also, I serve on many CPFs and community policing forums. So my ward runs across two police stations. So we have the Pinelands police station where we have Pinelands is dry. And then we have the Maitland police station where my residents of Maitland South in Debini and Maitland Garden Village go to. And if I look at the problems in Maitland and the residents facing, they've done a huge drive to try to close down establishments to get rid of consumption sales because of the problems they cause. And this goes across. And if I speak to any of my 116 ward councillors, all of them will say, "Riyad, keep Pinelands dry. You don't know what it's like when you have an off-consumption sale within your area." So it's not my personal opinion. I have my personal opinion. My personal opinion is no. But I have to look at the facts. And the facts are that where off-consumption sales happen, you have way more problems than if you don't. So it is about the tradition and the rest, but to me, it's the facts, and the facts say when you have off-consumption, you have more social problems. We can't have it that close to a school. We have an aged home. We have two schools in the area and high schools that are in very, very close proximity to it. It's not about the churches or the mosques or anything else. It's about the children and access to alcohol, and it's what the other communities have been telling me.
Barney says, let me ask you a question, Riyadh.
If I look at the
Let me ask.
emails that we received, let me just finish.
But Riyadh, this is a conversation.
Emails,
This is a conversation. I'd like to have a conversation with you and add what listeners are asking me. We spent 26 minutes. I've asked one question. Barney is asking, please ask the councillor why, if Checkers can't get a license, when Pinelands Tennis Club and the social clubs, they have liquor licenses. Why are you saying, while certain people can consume, others can't buy, maybe take it to their homes?
So remember, the Pinelands Tennis Club, the cricket club, it's all on consumption. It's not about on consumption. In fact, it's not even about the consumption of alcohol. It's about the off sales of alcohol. This is an application for off sales, not on consumption. As you rightly mentioned, all the restaurants you can go, if you want to, you can buy alcohol which you can consume on the premises. There's a big difference between the application of consumption, which in Pinelands we do not have, and the sale of on consumption, which we haven't been opposing.
A message here says, it seems as if you're essentially trying to police poor people against rich people, and that rich people can go to the clubs and restaurants, go consume there, get things delivered, whereas someone who has to go to some sort of outlet, they'd have to go elsewhere. They have to go outside of Pinelands, whether it be Langa or Thornton or across the into in Mowbray, to get their tipple. Riyadh?
So I've said nothing about rich or poor in any of my things, so the person probably misheard. There are outlets, and in Pinelands, in Ndabeni, not even 500-600 meters away from Howard Centre, just outside the border of Pinelands, there is a Tops for Spa. So I don't know where the person is getting his information, but it's clearly incorrect.
How many applications have there been in the last one? I know that the Howard Centre has upgraded. You have more and more retail outlets opening up in the Pinelands area. How many applications have there been from these big retailers?
There are new applications. There's a Checkers at Conradie that will be has put in an application. But in terms of things, so we have 4 major chain stores. 3 and 1 coming. So Spa has got the Tops for Spa, but within Pinelands, that Spa is honouring the Keep Pinelands dry in terms of not selling on off consumption. Woolworths is doing likewise, and Pick and Pay. So all we're asking Checkers when they do come is to do exactly the same and honour Pinelands in terms of that we do not have off consumption sales.
From what
in terms of on consumption, we have absolutely no problems with those. They do go through a process, but in all instances, if they comply, we're not going to stop one restaurant and play it up against another one when they both apply for on consumption.
From what I understand, what I read from the reports, even if, let's just say, even if Checkers does get a license approved, it doesn't necessarily mean, apparently this application is simply just to do due diligence. And even if they may get a license, they could say, well, based on being a community member, we may decide, well, not to take advantage of that license. That is my understanding correct?
Yeah, so what happens is everybody sends it through to the Western Cape Liquor Authority, and then they CC myself in as well as the chair of the Ratepayers Association. All of that information that gets put into a report, the CPF Community Policing Forum in Pinelands comments and SAP's comments. Once we have all that information, we'll have the statistics of how many people and community-based organizations are opposing it compared to how many community-based organizations. There isn't one yet, but that might be in favor of it, but there are individual residents that are. And once we have those statistics, that's the way we can then approach Checkers and say, these are the statistics. Yeah. Could you honor it or not? But
I'd have to leave it there, but thank you so much. Running late for news, but thank you so much.